Seen way too many movies for this.
It's the middle of the night when a security camera films what looks like an ordinary empty room. Everything seems normal at first. You can see a door at the back that's completely shut. The whole place is dead quiet. For a few long seconds, absolutely nothing moves. But then that door starts creeping open, bit by bit. You can't see any hand grabbing the handle. No shadow sliding under the gap. Nobody's even there.
Front. Door. Center. Center is open. Disarm now. Disarm now.
You catch that? The door swings open just enough for a person to walk right through. But here's the thing. Nobody does. The room stays completely empty the whole time. Some people watching think it's just air moving through, or maybe a broken door latch. But others say the way it moves looks like someone's actually pushing it. It's not jerking open fast or slamming hard, just this smooth, controlled movement that opens up to nothing but darkness. Around the same time, this woman decides to film herself laying down on her bed in a dimly lit bedroom. Everything looks pretty normal at the start, except her eyes have this weird glow to them, these little bright spots that seem way too bright for how dark the room is. She's just laying there completely still. Then out of nowhere, her whole body shoots straight up off the bed. She's not sitting up on her own. She's actually floating in the air, and she starts yelling for someone to help her. Meanwhile, a security camera is filming an empty hallway in the middle of the night. Nothing's moving for several long seconds. Then something shoots across the screen way too quick to make out. You see that? Some blurry thing zips through the picture in a split second. Can't tell what shape it is, doesn't cast a shadow. Some people think it's dust or a bug. Others say the movement seems purposeful. The hallway goes back to being empty. Could be the camera playing tricks, or something else. So is this stuff actually real, or just people faking it for views? That's always up to you to figure out. These strange things started happening while building a hospital in Mexico City. Security guards kept seeing figures and hearing moans or laughter when nobody was there. One of the guys working there decided to walk around and check out this section of the hospital where nobody else was hanging out, and he ended up filming something that really freaked them out. Here's what he caught on video. That was way worse than just creepy. Some kind of crying sound. And right at the end, you hear laughing, which really messed with this guy's head. Makes it even worse when you really think about how he's completely all by himself in that particular part of the hospital, with absolutely no other patients or staff members around to hear anything that might be happening in there, which creates this incredibly unsettling atmosphere of total isolation. What you're about to watch was filmed and posted by this guy Alex, who has a job at a movie theater in Mexico. He was giving a quick walkthrough of one of the rooms where all the employees knew weird supernatural stuff would happen. And that's when he started going through something really disturbing.
Grandísima, como pueden ver, está grandísima la sala. Grandísima. Muy grande. Y dicen que este es el rincón donde se escuchan los lamentos. Acá, en esta puerta, donde nadie puede entrar. Acá, esta es la pantalla del cine. ¿Escucharon? ¿Escucharon? Se ve distinto. Desde acá, desde este punto, hay alguien ahí arriba. Si logran verse una persona observándonos desde hacia arriba, pero no le hagan caso.
What happened that evening turned out to be way more disturbing and unsettling than Alex could have ever expected or imagined. The most chilling and terrifying thing was not what Alex saw and heard at that particular moment, but rather what went completely unnoticed by him. When you focus on the top left area in the back part of that room, there's definitely something or someone standing there. What makes this really weird is that Alex swears the place was totally empty, no customers anywhere, no employees around, and because of the time, nobody was supposed to be in there at all. But the video clearly shows someone who shouldn't exist in that space. Alex can't come up with any reasonable explanation for what his camera accidentally caught, and ever since that day, he's completely convinced that whatever got filmed doesn't belong in our world and was somehow following him around. This next story is definitely going to freak you out. We're looking at the creepy experience of Ken Kiyu, an Uber driver who likes to film himself with a dashboard camera during his regular routes, usually sharing driving advice. But one particular day, everything went completely wrong. While doing what seemed like a regular pickup, Ken got a ride request from a really strange location, a cemetery. Even though he wasn't sure about it for a moment, he chose to take the job without realizing what he was going to discover there.
We are picking a passenger called Betty up from the Fort Lincoln Cemetery. So we are at a cemetery and we have a passenger to pick up. I'm picking this person called Betty up, and it's over there, and it's a cemetery, and there's no one over here. So we'll find out what's going on here. I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but let's go find out what's going on over here. It's kind of it's kind of crazy. Well, my app says I'm here. Let's try calling them again.
This Uber call is being recorded. Please leave your message.
So I ended up canceling the ride because there's nobody over here. No one over here.
That whole situation was beyond weird. Once he got to the spot they'd given him, which was the local cemetery, nobody was there waiting for him. Nothing was moving, no explanation anywhere. Just endless rows of grave markers and complete silence. Ken waited there for quite a while, expecting someone to show up, but nobody ever came. A few minutes passed, then the app just cancelled the whole trip, like it never happened in the first place. What made it really disturbing was what came after that. People in the comments started saying these cemetery pickup requests happen all the time. Others went even further, claiming these were actually supernatural encounters, where spirits try to use modern technology to make contact with people who are still alive. What's your take on what really went down here? Just a glitch in the system, or was something actually trying to reach out to that driver? Picture this scenario. The driver gets to the location and decides to look at one of the gravestones nearby, only to discover the passenger's name carved right into it. Two nurses are seated at their station, completely focused on their paperwork. Out of nowhere, this mysterious human-like figure suddenly zooms right past them at an incredibly fast speed. There's no sound of footsteps hitting the ground and absolutely no reaction from anyone around them. Nobody could figure out what that strange thing actually was, even after watching the recorded footage over and over again, carefully analyzing every single frame and detail they could see. The following was uploaded by Nicholas Farias. One night, while he was out walking with his little daughter, something quite terrifying happened. Nicholas himself was so astonished that the only thing he could do was upload the recording to his TikTok and let people draw their own conclusions. The girl is said to have a small imaginary friend, a friend who can even move objects if the girl asks him to.
Lo que pasa acá, cerca de mi barrio, a la vuelta de mi casa, bueno, mi hija se ve que tiene un amigo invisible porque ustedes miren, váyale, decirle que traiga el coche. Decirle que traiga el coche, decirle. Le dice que traiga el coche.
¡Dale el coche!
No.
We can see both of them outside their house, the father and his little girl. The girl is standing on one side, while a small toy stroller sits way over on the other end. The father tells his daughter, "Tell it to pull the stroller." The little girl lets out a yell. We think she's telling it, "Move the stroller." Just seconds after that, the stroller starts moving completely by itself. The father gets so shocked by what happens that he stops recording right there.
No.
Since a lot of people just didn't believe him, and some even called him crazy, he posted a second video where he's back on that same street. But this time it's completely dark outside. His daughter is standing off to the side and her dad tells her, "Call the car and let's see what happens. Keep watching."
Acá está el carrito, ahí está mi hija, es de noche, acá tengo la mano, no tengo hilo, no hay control remoto, por ningún lado, por donde lo vean, al carrito no tiene control remoto. Bueno, acá mi hija va a llamar al coche.
Este es el último video que hice con mi hija.
Hola, gágala.
Llama al coche. Llama al coche.
¡Hola, coche!
Pega un grito y hasta los perros ladran.
Para que ustedes vean. Llámalo.
The dad says his little girl started this when she was just 3 or 4 years old, playing by herself like someone else was right there with her. The weird stuff happening around their house never stopped, and it all led to these strange meetings. Do you think this could just be what some followers suggested? Maybe fishing line or remote control wires making it move? Or are we looking at something supernatural here? This video was apparently filmed somewhere in Mexico in an underground location. The guy who recorded it says, ever since he started working at this place, bizarre things have been happening to him. Stuff so frightening it doesn't even make sense. Then one night when he had to stay late and work completely alone with no other staff around, he managed to record something that really scared him. He posted this video on his social media accounts, especially Instagram, where it seems like those paranormal events he talked about showed up in a really aggressive way, and everything got caught on camera. Unfortunately, the person who filmed this won't say exactly where in Mexico this happened, because his company warned him not to reveal the location for his own safety. Let's take a look and see what we can figure out. The whole atmosphere is really creepy. Everything's way too dark. Just looking at it, you can tell this would be a terrifying place to work. But the really scary part of this video is that door. The door on that portable bathroom starts slamming open and shut really violently, like someone's just throwing it around. The guy says it's a really heavy place to work even during the day, and lots of workers have quit because they just can't handle this paranormal stuff. What happened to him is just a taste of it, because other workers say their tools get moved around. They see people walking by. They hear voices, and some have even spotted a woman floating in the air. Can you imagine having to work somewhere like that? It would be absolutely terrifying, and most people couldn't handle a job like that. Tell me honestly, would you do it? This footage was taken by someone going by the name Evelyn, who says that her brother managed to catch what she's describing as a goblin on his mobile phone while they were in the middle of a party. Pretty fascinating, right? Even though the video quality is terrible, you can clearly make out legs and arms on that little figure, and it even looks like it's wearing some kind of tall elongated hat or headpiece. Do you see it there? This time with the color effects added to enhance the details. It's definitely not someone's shadow, and it's not from an animal either, so the goblin theory is starting to look a lot more believable. Do you think that's really what got captured in this footage? What else could it possibly be? This doesn't match the shadow of any person or animal we can think of, which really strengthens the theory that we're looking at a goblin or some kind of supernatural creature here. What do you think this mysterious footage actually caught on camera? Drop your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Some young people were heading home after a party when they suddenly spotted something weird way down the road. Here's what one of them managed to film. Take a look.
Señor, ¿qué es eso? Lo que está allá. Uy, uy. Lo está moviendo. Ay, ya, lo que está allá moviéndose en lo más oscuro. Güey, no es un palo.
No, güey, yo lo deformo.
Yo también lo deformo como mujer, güey.
Ay, que yo me cagué, güey, estamos bien cerca, güey.
No sé. Y nos queríamos bajar por las pastillas. Esa cosa que está ahí, mire.
Mira, no hay nada, entonces no era un tronco ni nada porque muchas personas van a decir eso. Si hay pasar para allá, ¿verdad? O nomás está aquí.
Pues la hay, pero está bien feo, digo que corre eso.
Ah, ok.
Pero ahí donde está él, pues está. Ay, no, ya. Oh, es que lo pido.
Bueno, allá me voy igual.
A ver, a ver. Ay.
No hay nada, miren.
It wasn't a stick or anything like that. You can clearly make out a woman's shape, wearing what looks like old-fashioned clothes, like she's from another time period. Can you see it? The craziest part is she seems to be floating instead of walking. How do you even explain something like that? It was 9:45 at night when this strange phenomenon lit up the sky over the Mexicali area in Baja California. Thousands of people witnessed this incredible sight, staring up in disbelief at what was happening above them.
¿Quieres esta wea? Ay,
Conche tu madre. Está como al lado de la polla cabeza, weón. Como mirándome por al lado. Está como pálido, loco.
Sí, weá, sientes como si estuviera mirando de acá.
La madre bebé del pozo puta fumando. Te enteran, weón. Esto de día, pero no me de nada. Lo que me desea, yo le.
¿Quieres esta weá? Ay. Conche tu madre. Está como al lado de la polla cabeza, weón. Como mirándome por al lado. Está como pálido, loco.
Sí, weá, sientes como si estuviera mirando de acá.
La madre bebé del pozo puta fumando. Te enteran, weón. Esto de día, pero no me de nada. Lo que me desea, yo le.
¿Quieres esta weá? Ay. Conche tu madre. Está como al lado de la polla cabeza, weón. Como mirándome por al lado. Está como pálido, loco.
It looks like a spotlight, but everyone who saw this swears it was way too high up. Just look at it. That thing is lighting up above the cloud line with a brightness that's impossible to create with today's technology. Are we watching some kind of new military experiment? Or do you think what we're seeing isn't from this world at all? It's deep into the night when this mom quickly grabs her phone to start recording. She's lying in bed looking across at her daughter, who had told her just hours earlier that she was too afraid to sleep in her own room. Something felt totally wrong in her house, and she had to get it on camera. While she's filming, she catches this.
Her sleeping with me in my bed tonight. She kept saying that she was really scared of something in her room. I'm a little bit shaky. I don't know if you guys can tell, but so this is the same toy that used to go off in the past, and it's always terrified me since. Because I would ask it questions and it would answer with noises. With noises.
Someone going by the name Vasquez came across a disturbing live news report. They were covering the deadly aftermath of a gas leak inside a house. The building was completely empty, or at least everyone thought it was, until they noticed what happened at one of the windows. Watch this. Due to strict safety protocols established after the initial incident, the contaminated location must remain completely sealed off and quarantined because of the serious risk of possible new poisoning cases, which means there's absolutely no way anyone could be inside that room right now. But as you can see in the footage, someone or something is definitely moving that curtain behind the window. Maybe it's just the wind blowing through, or perhaps some kind of technical glitch or distortion in the video recording itself. But when you really look at it closely and watch how it moves, does this honestly look like just a simple technical problem to you? Or could it be the presence of something we can't explain? This next recording might be short, but it's absolutely terrifying and will leave you with chills down your spine. A driver was making his way down a completely deserted and isolated road in the remote Australian outback, forced to travel through the immense expanse of a massive forest, when he suddenly came face to face with this deeply chilling and disturbing scene.
Seen way too many movies for this. You're a go, mate.
His headlights cut through the darkness and lit up something disturbing. A person standing completely still, dressed in dark clothes. This figure didn't seem to care that a car was coming. They wouldn't move out of the way, wouldn't step aside, and for a moment it looked like they were actually waiting for him. The driver got really nervous and decided not to stop. He hit the gas and drove right past the figure, trying not to look directly at it, but later he swore he could feel that thing slowly turning its head to watch him go by. Something caught his attention when he glanced in his rearview mirror. The figure had completely vanished. There was no trace of it anywhere, no shadow, no shape, just the empty road and the dark forest all around. Some people think it might have been some kind of dark spirit from the lower astral plane, a malevolent presence that didn't simply disappear from the road because it had left the area, but because, according to what they said, it was now riding along with him, seated right there in his back seat. There's this guy who works on a ship, specifically down in the storage area of the vessel. That place has been the source of countless ghost stories told by security guards who've worked there. They talk about strange noises you can't explain, presences you feel but never see, and shadows that seem to move through the hallways when nobody should be there. What Sab recorded that night didn't just back up these stories. It made it clear that something weird actually lives in that place. Pay attention to what's coming next. One of the warehouse doors was opening by itself. But that wasn't the worst part. There was something more unsettling. It sounded like a strange woman's voice was present, though you couldn't make out what she was saying. Zap noticed this and ran straight to the warehouse, but he didn't find anyone there at all. Some people mentioned that the voice had this weird echo to it, which made them think it could be some kind of spirit from beyond. A few days later, while he was checking the security cameras, he spotted something really creepy that caught his attention. Watch this footage carefully.
No, I ain't seen this.
What the y'all, this is wild. It happened right in here. That is crazy. Y'all see that on camera? Rewind the camera back. That's crazy. I gotta be in here one day when it's dark so I can catch that. Wow. It's insane, y'all.
A human shape was clearly showing up on the security camera feed, appearing quite distinctly through the grainy black and white footage. It genuinely looked like someone was definitely walking around inside the building, moving deliberately through the supposedly empty corridors and rooms of the facility. The worst part was that you could only see it through the camera lens, which made the whole experience feel even more unsettling and strange. The story goes that years ago, a woman who worked right there in the warehouse tragically died in that very spot after an accident with a forklift. According to accounts passed down over time, she spent her final moments right where the incident occurred during what should have been a routine workday. Some people believe that what appeared on that computer monitor during the investigation could actually be the supernatural manifestation of this particular woman's spirit, attempting to show itself to the living world. Just imagine if you worked at this place, knowing that during those long night shifts, you might not be alone and something could be watching you from the shadows. Picture yourself walking through those dark corridors, hearing unexplained sounds, and feeling like unseen eyes are following your every movement throughout the building.